Should I start it like this? Do I put the light here? I don't know. I think this could be better. Yeah, I think this is the right direction, yeah. And then gotta take off this little thing. Oh, it's so satisfying. It's always so satisfying when you take it off the little plastic thingy. But everyone, welcome. So, um, yeah, so welcome to the mental health mental health podcast, hosted by me, Gabriel McNulty, future MS. Got my water right here. It's good. It's good water. That is good water. Wait, let's see. Mic feature. You guys are just not being able to hear this out, and I turned it back on. So as you can see, that's kind of gonna be the style of this podcast. It's gonna be very casual, very free flowing. Nothing, nothing too crazy. Definitely nothing too crazy. Um, Not gonna be like flipping tables or pulling unicorns out of my hat on this podcast. It's gonna be very casual, very just down to earth. That's how I like it. And I think that's how I like life. It's kind of a broader just thing in my life is just I just like when things are relatively unplanned and kind of just people can just be themselves and just be. I think that's the great part about um, you know the term human being, right? Is you just be. And I think that's what I like most about being alive, as a human being, is just being, right? Um, I feel like it's you know, it's just like it's kind of annoying to get caught up in the whole, like planning this, planning that. Like what was your GPA at like this specific age, and what was your exact footstep here and there, and um I'm probably gonna maybe potentially cut most of this out of the video, but we'll see. I feel like YouTubers always say that. They always say, "Oh, I'm gonna cut this out of the video," and then it's like, no, it's right here. It's literally you're watching it right now. So who knows? Only God knows. That's the other thing about this podcast is, um, it's gonna include my faith a little bit. I am a very, very spiritual person. I would say I have spiritual experiences probably about once a week. Maybe yeah, nah, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every other week. So yeah, it's kind of just gonna be a free flowing thing. And yeah, I would love for you guys to come along with me. Let me know if you want to connect or anything. In the comments, just leave me a comment, and yeah, just drop your like whatever Instagram or something. Um, that'll be super lit, bro. Hashtag looking to connect. Shout out LinkedIn. Um, anyways, I love myself. That's good. That's a good thing because I used to not love myself. I used to hate myself, and now I love myself, and so obviously that's a pretty good evolution, right? Um, and you know what? I think the best part about God and spirituality is that um, God is love, and so I think it's important for us all to have love, right, in our lives and wherever it comes from. Um, sometimes it can come from relationships, and that's great. Um, and sometimes it can come from, just within, like, oh, I just love, like, the flowers outside, right? Or I just love Burger King, or, like, I love Fortnite, or I love, like getting Burger King in Fortnite, or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, it can come from a lot of different places. It can be kind of degenerate and external, um, which is kind of a problem. It can be from like Twitch Twitch streamers, which is, in my opinion, extremely degenerate. And it's degenerate because the word degenerate basically means not generating anything. It's degenerating, actually. So you're just wasting your energy. Yeah, but I think humans all have the capacity to love themselves and to get to a place of relative self love. I think it's not always um, it's not always easy. It's not always clear. Um, but I think that's the best part about it, right? Um, if if it was easy, everyone would do it. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, it's really cliche, but it's kind of true to a certain extent. Um, like, um, just I mean, this is a neuroscience um, fact, but basically, when we do anything, it all follows these neural pathways that we have, and I'm definitely not an expert. I'm a future MS. I'm not a current MS, but or PhD or what is that, MD? Yeah, but basically, we create these neural pathways, and every time we do something, we our brains follow along those neural pathways, and that's it's basically how we do anything is neurons in our brain communicate to each other, and so it's like one neuron tells another neuron what to do, and then that neuron tells another neuron, and then it's like this long chain, and eventually you perform an action or think a thought or feel a feeling or something like that. Okay, I'm re-recording this in the morning. Um, but the whole point of the neuron conversation was to talk about how we have these neural pathways, and the more that we use certain neural pathways, the easier they get to use. And so um, in the case of self-love, it's rarely practiced, and it's usually a learned behavior, um, rather than something that we've been doing our whole lives. So therefore, it's hard because we have to, one, create neural pathways to love ourselves, and then we have to use those neural pathways and practice them and get better and better at them. Um, some people might just be unconsciously aware that they love themselves, but usually it's a more of a learned thing. So that was the meaning behind the neuron explanation. Loving yourself the is like the antithesis of a mental health struggle. Um, because when you love yourself, um, you're no longer searching for love from all these other sources, and in my opinion, that's kind of what mental health is. Mental health struggles are. Um, some of them could just be a chemical imbalance, sure. Um, but a lot of them are just about um, either a lack of love, um, not receiving enough love, or not giving enough love. Um, it's usually one of those two. Either not receiving enough love or not giving enough love. And unfortunately, a lot of people, um, a lot of people in the world today feel that way. And yeah, evidenced by thousands of people. Oh, that was my phone. Giving me an I am reminder. You guys should get this app. It's really good. I am. It's like positive affirmations. That's probably something I'm going to be talking about on the podcast at some point, for sure. So that'll be good. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. Um, yeah, evidenced by the thousands of people every day who go on, Twitch streams or go on OnlyFans, and right, and it's basically, they're looking for love, but they're looking for love in the wrong places, and so, yeah, and the reason why I say like Twitch streams or like degenerate OnlyFans is degenerate is because um, degenerate basically means degeneration. So it's like you're not generating things. You're actually just wasting energy. And in my opinion, that is what Twitch streams and OnlyFans are, and like porn and like stuff like that is like you have life, you have this like life force, and this precious life force, and instead of using it to generate more life and to generate more positive things, they get on there in a little, and it's just a little microcosm of, um, like, you guys will probably hear me talk about this a lot, but it's basically just a microcosm of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and it's not actually generating anything. It's just circulating. And serotonin is the connection chemical that we have in our brain, and so it's when we connect with each other, um, when we socialize, it's linked to that. Um, it's important for that. It's important for mood. It's important for stuff like that. Dopamine is very important for things like motivation and sleep and um, yeah, stuff like that. And then oxytocin is basically the love chemical. And so a lot of times, that's those kinds of things. OnlyFans, porn, uh, Twitch streams is just a circulation of those chemicals. But when I say it's not generating anything, is because here's an example: is so a Twitch streamer is sitting there and doing some provocative thing, or an OnlyFans model is posting some inappropriate, inappropriate, provocative, erotic picture, right? Or a porn star is doing some crazy porn skit, right? Um, it's basically they use their life resources to do those activities, but it doesn't actually generate anything um, positive. It's just a connection, not even a connection because they're not even connecting. It's just like this fake thing where like the you know the seller, distributor, whatever you want to call it, performs, um, and then the viewer or the buyer or the recipient, um, you know, gains. And so I guess it's more of just a transactional thing. Um, but if you think about it, um, you know, that energy that once was there is unfortunately just being lost. Yeah, the solution to mental health struggles is definitely, from my understanding and my belief, is not from external sources. Because external sources will always inevitably let you down. It doesn't even have to be intentional, right? Like, um, sometimes you can have a great relationship for a few months, and you guys are clicking, and it's all great, and but then they move away, or they get a job in like France or something, and in that case, your love source, also known as your life source, um, is now gone. And, you know, people look for love in so many places because I think some of the foundational concepts of love are, you know, being cared about, um, having meaning, um, um, and being known and understood and seen, and but ultimately being cared about, I think. um, it's such an important thing. um, it's so important that we ourselves stop looking in the wrong places for love. Stop looking in video games and social media. I'm, I'm still working on social media, because sometimes I try to find love there. But ultimately, while it can come from relationships and other external sources, and that's great. When it does happen, it's great. It's a supplement. Um, it should not be your foundation. What happens, your parents, they shower you with praise and love, and then they go, right? They depart from this earthly world. They're no longer here with us, and then you're left alone without them. And um, now, I guess you could, cling to their opinion of you, and that would be great. But eventually it gets murky, and memories start to fade. And when those memories fade, um, the thing that you turn to is no longer there. When it gets rough at work and everyone's calling you names, you don't have someone to talk to about it. And or when you grow apart from your friends, who do you have to be there for you? Who's going to be there? And that's why I'm just so passionate about God, is that God's love, whatever you want to call it, God, or stuff like that, or just my high power, that's fine, higher power. Alcoholics Anonymous, I'll probably be mentioning that on here a little bit, is a great program, and a lot of people don't know this, but one of the 12 steps in Alcoholics Anonymous is identifying a higher power, and and there's other steps as well. I could probably pull it up. Let's see. Okay, this is the UK website. I don't know if I want that. No shade towards UK, but it's okay, yeah. So yeah, it's it's intertwined all over the program. Came to believe that a higher power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Made a decision to turn our will and lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. And admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And then 11th step is sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and power to carry that out. And then the 12th step is about helping others after that. So it's really powerful stuff. It's really all about, it's like, figuring out your purpose, but not through the conventional way of just trying to come up with it yourself, right? But it's seeking something greater than you. And that's personally what I found. And there is like a little cheat sheet for it. I think I will do a video on it. I think it's super helpful. And yeah, I think it would just be super helpful for people. But yeah, I think this is part of my purpose. Anyways, but like, making a positive impact in the world of mental health. Which is great. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, like even even putting your even finding love in yourself, right? It's great and all. Um, but relying on your own opinion of yourself is a fatal flaw. Um, well, maybe not a fatal flaw, but it is a flaw. Um, it can definitely lead one astray. Um, and yeah, it's like, our opinions change all the time. Um, and, what is our opinion even based on? What is it resting upon? Because, our opinion has to be based on something, right? It has to be based on what? Let's see, information. So, let's say you take in information, and then one day you take in, crazy amounts of negative information that says all people with a with like a unibrow are now no longer useful, and all people with a unibrow are just genetically, like just off, and my opinion of them is that they're ugly, and so that they should just never they they just should just they're not as important as other people. And then it's like you see that information and you're like, oh well, let's see, I trust humans, and like I care about what people think of me, and it's it's foundational. It's like um whatever we take in about us, it is bound to make an impact, right? Because of the chemicals I was talking about earlier. When you watch a video like that, your serotonin and your dopamine is going to be going off. It's going to be firing, and your oxytocin too, probably. And you're bound to be impacted by it. It's not. It's not even. It's literally not even a question. Like you're bound to be impacted by it. It's gonna affect you. It's gonna change the way that you think about yourself, because it's literally just brain chemicals, and because you're gonna be impacted by it. You're bound to be impacted by it because it is a fellow human, and you know um, whether you like it or not, every human interaction you have slightly alters your brain. It alters your information in your brain, and you know although you do have some sort of like determination of like, do I want to listen to this information, like um uh like inevitably it's gonna be there, and it's like, yeah, why would I listen to my own opinion, right? It's like, you go into an ice cream store one day and your favorite flavor is orange, and then 2 weeks later, it's a completely different flavor, and it's like my favorite color is red now, because I'm really angry at this person, and then 2 years later your favorite color is blue. um and it's just like, I mean, those are kind of mundane examples, but it's just the point is that our opinions change, even our opinions of ourselves, a lot of the time. Some days, I might wake up and I think that I am literally like a 10 out of 10. Um, and then other days I wake up and I think that I'm not sure if anyone on planet Earth is less attractive than I am. So it's like that's just how it be. Um, and I just think that um, you know, it's important to place your worth and value and receive and receive love from a source that is never changing, um, um, eternal, um, always there for you, whether it's 5 in the morning, whether it's 6 in the afternoon. Um, Someone that isn't gonna stab you in the back. Someone that isn't gonna say one thing about you one day and then say a different thing about you the next day. There's been times with my family where I've been like, I love my family so much, and like they're the best people ever, and they're just absolute angels. Um, and like I could just not be more grateful for them, and I love them so much. Um, and then there are other days when I'm like, if the worst thing imaginable ever happened to you, I wouldn't be upset at all. Um, so that's just the kind of thing that happens, um, with us humans, and yeah. So like I said, it's just really hard to rely on external sources and even our own opinions because oftentimes they're very uh, dynamic, also known as changing. Um, and finally, I wanted to share a bit about um, one of my family members who really motivates me to um, pursue mental health and to pursue making a positive impact in mental health. Um, this person, um, by no fault of their own, just due to the structure of our society and our world, by no fault of their own, they put their life and their worth and their love in things that weren't very good to them. Um, they put it in other people, um, video games, movies, movie characters, actors, celebrities, um, even family and friends. They asked, whether consciously or unconsciously, what do these people or things think about me? Or society? What is their opinion of me? And how much do they love me? And once I know that, um, that's what I will base my own life off of, you know? And just was tossed around and battered around like like a ranch, like a branch on a rushing, turbulent, chaotic river. And eventually, it crushed them. And that person was my brother, Angelo McNulty Portnoy. And I loved Angelo so much, and I still do. And if he had just known what I thought about him and what God thought about him, that he was the most wonderful, creative, loving, funny, kind, caring, talented, skillful, amazing person, he might be here right now. And even though I can't say that to him anymore and make him feel that way and think that way and live that way and be that way, I can sure as hell make millions of other people, or thousands or millions or bajillions or whatever of other people feel that way. Accurately feel that way about themselves, because it's the truth. That we are all beautifully unique as we are. And we all carry our own special gifts. So yeah, those are the main reasons I started this channel. Subsequently followed by the fact that I think I have a vast knowledge of mental health. I have a creative storytelling mind who can convey things in a captivating, honest, and exciting way. I think that I'm a highly intelligent person who can synthesize these ideas and hopefully make them entertaining and interesting for you all. And obviously the main goal, hopefully these podcasts can help you out, and in some way or another, in the world of mental health, or or in a different realm. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll definitely be having guests on the podcast, which will be pretty awesome. And then, yeah, yeah, just stay tuned. I'll definitely be having guests on the podcast, and it's gonna be a fun journey. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Grateful for you guys to join me, and I already have my next episode planned. I'm gonna be recording it tomorrow. and it's called nature. So, nature and mental health. So, because I can't just be rambling about nature. I mean, I guess I could. Like, I could. I'll sprinkle in a bit of both. How's that? Um, but yeah, thanks for watching. I love you all, and have a good one. Bye.